When it comes to horror TV shows, Netflix has spent the past decade trying to cover every imaginable corner of the genre. Gothic ghost stories, psychological thrillers, slashers, found footage riffs, and prestige slow burns all sit comfortably in its library. Yet one specific strain of horror still feels oddly underrepresented across Netflix's originals. Body horror, despite its cinematic legacy thanks to classics like The Thing and modern hits like The Substance, is rarely touched by Netflix for its TV shows. This absence is surprising since the streamer has the money, the freedom, and the audience for it. Yet, sadly, series built around bodily transformation, violation, and physical disgust remain scarce. However, Netflix did quietly attempt to correct that imbalance in 2021, and the results were deliciously stomach-churning. Developed by Nick Antosca and Lenore Zion, brand new Cherry Flavor arrived without much fanfare but immediately distinguished itself as one of the most viscerally confrontational body horror TV shows ever made for the small screen. Brand new Cherry Flavor is deliciously gross. The 2021 Netflix show turns bodily transformation into its primary source of horror. Brand new Cherry Flavor wastes no time establishing its commitment to extreme body horror visuals. From its opening episodes, the show makes it clear that physical discomfort is not a side effect but the point. Bodies mutate, leak, rupture, and betray their owners in ways that feel intimate and relentless rather than merely shocking. At the center is Lisa Nova, Rosa Salazar, a filmmaker whose ambition and rage propel her into increasingly grotesque territory. Her body becomes a battleground, repeatedly violated by forces she only partially understands. Brand new Cherry Flavor treats these violations as extensions of emotional trauma, making each moment of physical horror feel disturbingly earned. Brand new Cherry Flavor's most infamous imagery, including people vomiting kittens and parasitic growths that function as sexual orifices, isn't deployed for novelty alone. These moments are staged with a tactile intensity that forces viewers to sit with discomfort. The camera rarely flinches, lingering just long enough to ensure revulsion sinks in. What separates brand new Cherry Flavor from more conventional gore-driven horror is its commitment to transformation over violence. Pain is prolonged, consequences are permanent, and bodily autonomy is repeatedly stripped away. The horror isn't about sudden death but about living inside a body that no longer feels controllable. Even quieter moments are saturated with bodily unease. Sensations linger beneath the surface, suggesting that horror persists even when nothing visibly grotesque is happening. This constant tension keeps the series from ever feeling safe. For fans of body horror, brand new Cherry Flavor feels unapologetically indulgent. It embraces excess, revulsion, and vulnerability without sanding down its sharpest edges. The result is television that feels confrontational in a way Netflix rarely attempts. The shocking imagery doesn't dilute brand new Cherry Flavor's themes. Beneath the gore is a focused story about power, abuse, and obsession. Despite its reputation for extremity, brand new Cherry Flavor never loses sight of what it's actually about. The Netflix series uses body horror as a lens to explore sexual assault, exploitation, and the corrosive pursuit of success within Hollywood. Its most disturbing moments are tied directly to these themes. Lisa's journey begins with betrayal and abuse at the hands of Lou Burke, Eric Langer, a powerful producer who weaponizes his position. Brand new Cherry Flavor treats this violation with gravity, allowing its emotional fallout to shape everything that follows. Revenge becomes a coping mechanism rather than a power fantasy. The physical degradation Lisa endures mirrors the way her ambition consumes her sense of self, leading to incredibly dark horror TV viewing. Each grotesque transformation reflects a compromise made in pursuit of control and recognition. The body horror visuals externalize internal damage, making trauma impossible to ignore. Hollywood itself is depicted as predatory and hollow. The industry's promises of creative fulfillment mask systems that chew people up, particularly young women. The body horror in brand new Cherry Flavor amplifies this critique, turning metaphor into something painfully literal. Even the show's most notorious sequences, such as an infamous sex scene in the 4th episode, have narrative justification. Brand new Cherry Flavor's explicit imagery reinforces themes of bodily autonomy and coercion rather than existing purely for shock. Discomfort is the point, not the spectacle. By grounding its grotesque visuals in character-driven storytelling, brand new Cherry Flavor avoids the emptiness that often plagues extreme horror. Every disturbing image serves a purpose, pushing the story forward instead of distracting from it. The show proves that body horror can be both confrontational and meaningful, using revulsion to deepen its themes rather than dilute them. Netflix should make more shows like brand new Cherry Flavor. No other Netflix horror series uses body horror this fearlessly or effectively. Netflix's horror TV show catalog is undeniably strong, but brand new Cherry Flavor still feels like an outlier. Its willingness to fully commit to body horror sets it apart from the platform's more recognizable successes. Even years later, nothing else in Netflix's lineup occupies the same space. The many Netflix series from Mike Flanagan excel at emotional slow burns and gothic dread. The platform's treasure trove of Korean horror shows often lean into suspense, tragedy, and sudden violence. These approaches are effective, but they rarely engage with the physical extremity that defines body horror. Brand New Cherry Flavor thrives on discomfort rather than tension alone. It doesn't build toward release, it sustains unease. This makes it harder to watch, but also harder to forget. Few Netflix originals are willing to alienate viewers this deliberately, and the lack of follow-up is striking. Nearly 5 years after its release, Netflix hasn't attempted another horror TV series that embraces bodily transformation with similar intensity. Given the platform's resources, this absence feels less like caution and more like missed opportunity. Body horror is uniquely suited to serialized storytelling. Long-form narratives allow transformations to unfold gradually, deepening their psychological impact. Brand New Cherry Flavor demonstrated this potential with confidence and precision. The show's cult status suggests there is an audience hungry for this kind of horror. Fans who want something stranger and more confrontational than conventional scares still point to Brand New Cherry Flavor as a benchmark. Netflix often positions itself as a home for bold storytelling. Revisiting the space Brand New Cherry Flavor carved out would reinforce that identity. Horror television is at its most exciting when it takes risks, and few risks are as potent as body horror done right. For years on, Brand New Cherry Flavor remains a reminder of what Netflix can achieve when it embraces the grotesque in its small-screen horror originals rather than shying away from it.